Hey guys, I know it's been a while. You haven't seen me on a stream or even a YouTube video in a very long time. I can tell you why. Basically, I made a pretty big purchase recently, and you may ask yourself what that is. What did I just buy? Well, let me tell you. The thing that I bought is, let's say, over $200, and it is none other than the new Nintendo 2DS XL. Now, you may be asking yourself, why spend $200 on a device that's less powerful than Switch in 2023? Let me tell you why. First of all, a lot of games that are exclusive to the 3DS family that are not going to be available due to the Nintendo eShop closing pretty soon. Actually, this month. So, a lot of games I need to play, like for example, Fire Emblem you see over here. That's a spoiler. Oh my god. I got into it because of Fire Emblem 3 Houses actually, and after that game I fell in love with the game's story, and basically I was interested in playing the rest of the series, but that was the only game available on the Switch. But now with this, I can now experience what, like 3 more Fire Emblem games on this. It's a lot easier, man. Now, it's not just because of Fire Emblem that I bought this thing. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of exclusive games on this that are not on the Switch yet, and I don't even know if it'll get ported or not. Who knows? But when I first got this thing, one of the things that stuck out to me the most was actually the user interface, the UI basically. When you open up the Switch, right? Switch, its home screen, it's pretty basic. There is no like musical charm or themes at all when you open this thing. You just click the button 3 times, then you're in. There's no like home music, there's no musical charm. The only things are like the little clicks that you hear when the system like starts up, when you disconnect or connect the Joy-Con, or like open up a certain app, or the Nintendo eShop for some reason. That's the only thing with basically a theme, if you would even call that a theme. But yeah, that's one thing I wanted to point out about this thing. Another thing I want to point out is that this has no customizability in terms of like the home theme. The setting for the themes on this thing, it just has 2 settings, basic black or basic white. This is a huge missed opportunity because on the 3DS, right, you had a bunch of themes you could buy for, or you could earn with like Me Street Plaza or something. I don't know, but it just has more themes than the Switch has, and the Switch is a recent console. Well, this not for since like what, 2011? Since I was in 4th grade, this thing has a better home system than the console that comes out now. That's just something I want to point out. The Switch's menu just feels like a streaming service because there's no music, there's no nothing basically. Based on the 3DS, right? There's a little charm every time you open an app, no matter what app it is. Either a DS game, a 3DS game, even the Nintendo icons have their own little charm within them too. It's just something to think about, man. Now for me, I don't know about you, but I never really took my Switch out to play it portably just because like the size of this thing, it's pretty long. I'm not going to lie. Pause. It's pretty big. I can't really fit this in the back of my pocket. Now obviously you could just take off the Joy-Cons and then now it's a bit more small, a bit more portable, but now you're just taking off 2 controllers and now it's like you have multiple things to keep track of in your pockets, unless you get a case. But even then, all of that compared to a small little device like this is way more portable than that Switch could ever be. And I'm just saying, the thickness of this device is like 2 iPhones 11 basically, with the cases on. That's very important, with cases on. So like the actual width of the thing is like 2 to 3 iPhone 11s. So it's like having 2 or 3 iPhones in your pocket at the same time, and like it's just way more like portable than say the Switch is. So that's another thing that I wanted to point out personally for my story with this thing. So the reason why I bought it is because I heard that the eShop was actually closing down, which means you will no longer be able to purchase 3DS games or Wii U games on their own respective systems at the end of this month, basically. So this is the last month that the eShop is going to be available. That means there are a lot of games exclusive to this device that you cannot play in any other system, unless you emulate. But even then, emulating, it's cool and all, but like it's not the authentic experience that you're going to get with these devices, basically. That's one big factor I wanted to point out to you. I was searching on eBay because I used eBay for some like exclusive like figures that I buy sometimes, and I used to do the bidding system, and I bid for like 5 of these basically. I never got them, always got outbidded, and it's like at that point I might as well just say screw it and just spend money on the purchase basically. So that's what I did. This costed around 210, but with shipping it came out to 240, so like nearly $250 for this thing. It released $199 MSRP in 2017. Given that plus inflation, that's like, it's a pretty good price. I got it. Plus there's not a lot of scratches on this thing. I got it used obviously, but the screen has no scratches on either side, and it's like, it's basically perfect basically. So when I first got it in the mail, right, the first thing I tried to do was basically, obviously I set up the system, but then after that try to transfer my data from my old 3DS to my new Nintendo 2DS. It's a complicated name, but it is what it is. Basically, my old 3DS was actually the launch title. This is from all the way from 2011. This is the case I had actually got at the Nintendo store. Is the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time case. Classic, very scratched up because obviously I used the thing a lot, so I remember getting this thing for my birthday and being absolutely excited for it. But this is the actual screen itself. This thing I have so many memories with, and I was amazed by the 3D back then, but now looking at it, it's still pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, like, it's pretty cool. You can't see it on the camera obviously, but yeah. Anyways, this thing was my life face back then. A lot of fun memories with this thing, and actually trying to transfer the data from this to the new DS works a little complicated. I had to I forgot my password apparently, so I had to restart my password like 5 times on the 3DS for the Nintendo password thing, trying to transfer it. It was a hassle. I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely a hassle. But after connecting the accounts, I had to transfer the data, and I did that wirelessly, which actually gave me a couple of problems. It disconnected on me 3 times basically, and obviously this is shipped to my home address. I went home, got it. I was trying to set it up, wasn't working. I was like, you know what, GG's, it is what it is. So I went to my college dorm, got the whole Wi-Fi situated on both of these devices. So after that, I transferred it, and it didn't give me any problems. The network was not interrupted, connection was not interrupted. It was actually fine for some reason, but it wasn't fine when I was at home with my own home Wi-Fi, which is interesting. And funny little thing, when you actually transfer this thing, it takes like, there's like these little Pikmin on the screen. It's like, so it's such a nice charm to the actual like transferring process as the device is loading itself. It's really cool. I'm really glad Nintendo just didn't leave it there. They just have a normal like loading screen, that they actually put some Nintendo charm into the thing, which is actually brings a funny point where how this has kind of no charm in it. I'm not gonna lie. Another dig of the Switch. I love the Switch though, but like, just doesn't have the same charm as like the Wii U or the Wii or the DS. Like, it's just not the same. Anyways, my first week having this thing was mostly just playing Fire Emblem Fates, because I actually borrowed it from a friend. I'm so glad that they gave me the copy that they had. It's the game that I played the most recently, and I'm really enjoying it actually. It's the game that I have in the background. Oh, there might be some spoilers. Anyways, don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to me. That's the game I've been playing the mostly recently. I got some other games too because I got excited. I went to a local game store, not GameStop, but local game store, and I picked up a couple of games. I got New Super Mario Bros. For the DS because that game was the first revamp of the Super Mario series, and I want to experience what it was. Plus, I played the Wii version a lot, and there wasn't the Mega Mushroom there, and that in this game is pretty clutch. I'm not gonna lie. I also picked up New Super Mario Bros. 2, the sequel. Funny enough, the sequel was only 13, while the DS version was 15. So the older version cost more money. Might be a better game though. Anyways, I then went to a local GameStop and picked up Super Mario 3D Land. I remember borrowing this from a library when I was in elementary school, and the way that works is that I had to complete games that I borrowed in 2 weeks. I did, but I wanted to experience it again now that I'm 20 and not like 9. So yeah. And then I got Nintendogs for my girlfriend, and she loves the game a lot. But the games that I played as a kid was Mario Kart 7 a lot, Pilot Wings, which is, I'm not gonna lie, it was fun for the first like week. After that, it kind of got boring, but it was a good experience. And then I had Super Street Fighter 4 fun times. Oof. Then the game that has the most hours is actually The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. I got that game right after my birthday when I first got my first DS system back in 2011, and that game blew my mind because that was my first Zelda game basically. And I remember watching my dad play it on the Wii through the virtual console system. It blew my mind. And then the fact that I could have my own version of the system like a year later when I was in 3rd grade was great. I had fun times. And then here digitally downloaded is Majora's Mask. So yeah, I'm a big Zelda fan. It's my favorite Nintendo franchise. Obviously, I can't bring up the 3DS without mentioning homebrew. So basically, there's no way that I can play all the games that I want on this device by purchasing it. Don't ban me. So basically, people have been doing is they've been actually hacking the system, turning this into a really big emulator where you can play older generation consoles, SNES, NES, even like some PlayStation games as well, which is actually kind of crazy. But basically, when the eShop shuts down, this thing might be getting hacked, man. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of Fire Emblem games I gotta play, and I don't have the money for it. So basically, I'm not endorsing hacking or any way, but like I had recently just purchased a bigger micro SD card right here. This will be used to save all my data, of course, and also I got an adapter that I found out works today. So basically, in here there is a micro SD card and it's only 4 gigabytes, but if I were to obviously upgrade it, I could upgrade it to 128 gigabytes, and basically this thing could be one heck of an emulator. I'm not gonna lie, which is something I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to. That definitely will be maybe the next video on the system, and basically it's going to add value to it because obviously it's going to be a hack system, which means you could play a lot of games on it that you couldn't normally play on this device if it weren't hacked. That being said, the value of this thing definitely is increasing since the eShop is going down. And also, let's just set a timeline. So this device was released in 2017. That is important because the Switch released also the same year in 2017. But what came first? It was the Switch. The Switch came first, and then the 2DS XL came second, which is why basically nobody knows this device, which kind of makes me sad because it's really like I really like this thing. Like the whole design of this thing is I really admire. So they made a bunch of changes to this thing. The front facing camera is not on the top anymore, it's in the center, and actually I don't use this to take pictures that often. If I do, it's like for a funny meme, like, hi, look, this picture looks deep fried, like raw. Pause. So yeah, that's what I do in terms of the pictures. It's funny, you know, take a picture of my friends, like, can I take a picture of DS? I'm like, sure. So boom. And then the back facing cameras are not on the top, they're actually on the bottom, which is actually pretty crazy. You know, one of my friends was playing face raiders on this thing, and they were not used to shooting from like the middle instead of the top, so it's pretty funny seeing that in 2023. But it's definitely something you get used to if you didn't want to take pictures of the thing, but you're not gonna buy ideas to take pictures of it. Anyways. Yeah, go! Yeah! Another cool feature is that this thing actually has a C-stick. You don't have to go out and buy a discontinued accessory for the second joystick. You have one right here. Is it good? No, but does it get the job done? Some say yes, some say no. Me personally, I do not have a game that could use this C-stick yet, so I don't know, but it's a cool addition nonetheless to have. Also, the screen itself, since they moved the cameras around, the actual like bezels is way smaller than the new 3DS XL basically, and that's what really appealed to me because that means the screen is just gonna look better in my opinion. Because look at it, it looks like an old like iPhone 5, iPhone 6 before they had like no bezels, but like it looks really good in my opinion. That's just me. I just really fell in love with the design, and honestly the 3DSs on eBay were always like $50 more than the 2DS XL, and basically this is the last DS that Nintendo ever made, so that in itself is a pretty big reason why I wanted to get it as well. And one thing that stuck out to me the most is like I take this out in public, which is something I would never do like in middle school, but I take this out in public now, and like people ask me what it is, and I say it's a DS. I'm like, oh okay, but is it a 3DS or a 2DS? I'm like, oh no, it's the new 2DS XL. And they're like, what? I thought the 2DS was just the sledge design, because there's a common misconception between the 2DS and the 2DS XL. When I told people I wanted a 2DS, they were like, what? Why? It's just a sledge design. I'm like, no, it's the wrong one. I feel like this console isn't well known that much, mostly because of the fact that it released after the Switch. Because after the Switch basically killed the DS. Like everyone knows that it's a home console, but also a portable console. And personally, I rarely played it in portable mode. I would more of a big screen, big TV type of guy, or even monitor. I see the screen behind me for some reason. I'm a streamer, by the way. But I always play my Switch docked basically, and whenever I took it out on the go, it was only for like a few hours. I rarely played it portable mode because I like to see it docked on a big screen. But think about it now in 2023, the Switch is like 6 years old at this point, and its age is really starting to show, because there are certain games like Pokemon Scarlet Violet that like kind of don't look as good as I hope they would in 2023. Like you have a PS5, Xbox Series X that can play 4K 60 or 1080. They have uncapped frame rates, and basically the fact that you can't play the mainline Zelda game in 1080p 60 FPS in 2023, I don't know, it just kind of doesn't survive through me, especially since you could do that on an emulator. It looks way good. Obviously there's a lot of bugs with emulating, and it's not the authentic Nintendo experience, but like these are pretty cool things. But that's something for a different video. Anyways, I know this is a little bit different to set up. I don't think you guys ever seen the back of my head before in like a video or anything like that, so that's sort of funny. I want to change this camera setup because it's new and I want to try out different things. My POV right now is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. There's a drawer and a tripod and a box light with the floodlights on either side. Never done this before. My room is a mess right now, so but anything for this video, I just want to change that up a little bit, you know, change the little formula and actually upload a video for once on this platform. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I do stream on Twitch, by the way, twitch.tv/Mania2kk. Follow me there if you want to see some Nintendo content as well as any other duo. I'm a variety streamer, and yeah, see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.